If you've not been keeping up with the latest AI releases, you might have missed the release of Deepseek AI. This AI is the best available, it's faster than ChatGPT, it's more accurate, and it's got fresher ball knowledge. But can it rebuild a football club better than a human? Last year, ChatGPT tried and failed to rebuild Manchester United better than I did, but can Deepseek finally take my crown? Well, today, we're both going to try and rebuild Spurs and see who can do a better job. So Spurs have millions of pounds to try and get their next rebuild correct. Sure, they'll probably only spend about £2.50 in real life, but why bother with genius recruitment analysts when this AI is free to use? I've given a full list of the Spurs squad, rating, wages and values to Deepseek, and I've asked it to rebuild the team using an £150 million transfer budget the Spurs are given in career mode. I've also rebuilt the team myself using my football knowledge, and this video is all about the direct competition between me and AI. Why not give this a go yourself, and I'll put the results at the end of this video, so see if you can beat both me and the AI, and let me know in the comments if you do. So, to stop me from just copying what the AI picks, I have gone first. This is the team that I've put together. I've sold Richarlison, Ben Davies and Reguilon, and I've replaced them with David Hanko, Angel Gomez, Brian Brobby and Tyler Dibbling. I do have a little bit of transfer budget left over, but let's have a look and see how the AI recommends we rebuild Spurs. So I've copied the latest Spurs data into Deepseek. It knows the budget, it knows the overalls, values, positions of every player, and then I've given it the exact same information about the top 250 players for overall and potential on FC25. Of course, it does also have some knowledge of football already, so I'm sure it has a decent idea about some of the players Spurs have been linked with in real life. So let's have a look at the outputs, and this makes a lot of sense. Reguilon, Davies, Spence, Hill and Højbjerg are all going to be sold. Bremer, Nuno Mendes, Koop Miners, Jonathan David and Mikel Elise all join the club. I'll be honest, these signings look way better than the ones that I've made, but definitely used more of the budget. To be honest, Van der Ven will probably feel quite hard done by with that Bremer signing, but the team really does look elite. Before we simulate the season, I need time to improve my team as well. Of course, I've still got loads of money left over, and there was only one move that I could make. I had to bring back Harry Kane. Boom, our team is ready, the AI's team is ready, and because we can't do 2-player career mode yet in FC25, I'm going to simulate the AI season first, and then my season, to see who can do the best. We're going to simulate a couple of months every single time, but we're going to start off by simulating September, because I am actually quite interested in maybe watching that Arsenal game, but Spurs got off to a really bad start for the AI. They lost to Leicester, the next game they lost to Everton, and then they had a pretty easy game in the Carabao Cup against Notts County that they also lost. I have no idea how a Premier League team would ever lose to Notts County on Sim, but there's proof that it can actually happen on FC25. So into the Arsenal match, and it is at New White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Arsenal themselves have strengthened their team. We're not going to go too in depth into this, I just kind of wanted to see how the AI's team would play on the pitch, and also use tactical view for the first time on FC25, and actually both of them turned out pretty well. Elise was a nice right wing choice. Jonathan David seemed like he was playing better than Solanke whenever I've watched my team play, but not as good as Harry Kane. And it was actually Kulusevski who would play in Jonathan David, and they would take the lead over Arsenal. So after losing to one of the worst teams in the game, Notts County, who are 1-star, they would then go 2-0 up against Arsenal after a very controversial penalty. If you're wondering why I don't use tactical view very often, it's just kind of a bit pointless. I mean, look at this. You can only just see the ball going in when you use this camera angle, and you might as well just be using CPU versus CPU and skipping tactical view altogether. We simulated the rest of the game, and 70% of possession went to Spurs, and they won 3-1. So maybe this was the turning point. You can see they started winning in the Europa League. They did lose to Spurs just before Christmas, and that's the first time we're going to look at the table. So after 17 matches, Spurs have 31 points, 10 wins, 1 draw and 6 losses. So you can see they either win or they lose. The simulation does not like giving out draws to this AI Spurs team. We're going to simulate now to the end of the season. The FA Cup final was Spurs against Arsenal, which is going to be massive. And with 33 games played, Spurs are now on 61 points, just 2 points behind second place. We decided to go into quick sim for these matches rather than using the calendar. They lost to Crystal Palace, and then I couldn't believe it, but Ange was immediately terminated. So that means they didn't actually even finish the season. They were in a pretty decent position still. They were 3rd or 4th in the league, and we just went to Southampton, finished the season, and this is where Spurs finished. So 3rd place, 70 points, 1 point behind 2nd place Arsenal, and that's quite a good rebuild for a team that's nowhere near there in real life. So let's have a look how I got on with my rebuild. So we had Harry Kane as our captain, of course. I think that almost guarantees that they play in simulation mode, and that's basically all we wanted to do. We had a very modern 3 centre backs with 1 wing back style. We didn't really want to use Udogie at the back. Hopefully the career mode simulation settings will understand that we are a bit more solid, but we started the year better than the AI because we drew our first 3 games 1-1 and then beat Newcastle in the Premier League to get our first win. We actually lost to Arsenal in the North London derby, and at the same point on Christmas Day, this was where we were. After 17 games, we had 27 points, so we're already 4 points behind the AI team. Are we going to get sacked though? I think if we finish in the Champions League and don't get sacked, it's probably a more successful rebuild than where they finished 3rd and did get sacked. But I think both teams have done so much better than Tottenham have done in real life. So, of course, because we had no transfer budget, we just simulated all the way through January. And it seemed like we were picking up some decent results. Newcastle were our first win of the season, and we would actually go on to beat them a second time as well. They were one of the top 4 contenders with us, so that was a super important match. So let's do the same as we did with the AI and skip towards the end of the season. So we're actually in the Europa League semi-final, so that's better than the AI did. In the league, we are 5th, and we don't really have any chance of coming 4th, so we're going to have to win the Europa League if we want to come in the Champions League next year. And we are also in the FA Cup final, but this time it's against Man City and not against Arsenal. So we've had a mixed bag of a season. We've done worse in the league, but in every single cup competition, we've either done just as well or even better. Of course, our Ange is winning Manager of the Month competitions while theirs is getting fired, but if we skip ahead again, we can finally have a look and see if we did manage to outscore the AI. We were so far behind them on points that I was thinking it was kind of unlikely, but we did actually go on to win the Europa League final 3-0 against Galatasaray, so Ange finally gets his trophy. We lost in the FA Cup final. Here's the big one. In the Premier League, we finished 4th, so got the Champions League anyway. I would say that I have won this competition as well, just like I did last year, and AI still needs to advance, but it was a lot closer this year. Last year, all they wanted to do was spend money on players that the AI knew were really good, whereas this year, there was actually a little bit of thought behind it. It wasn't go out and buy Saka for Spurs, it was buy Mikel Elise. It gave me reasoning, and hopefully, this is the kind of thing that can be added into career mode in the future. I understand that not many PCs and most consoles definitely can't run a model of this size and this complexity, but we're not far away from that being the case. And even if an AI like this is added into a career mode in 5 years' time with the same level of ability that it is at right now, I think that is still just going to make career mode way more fun and way more tough. Probably way more realistic as well. You can see Harry Kane was the main reason we did so well in tournaments. 48 goals in 63 games. It's obviously not the most realistic signing, but it's definitely won me this challenge. But thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another video. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.